A barbershop in Pennsylvania has been fined $750 for refusing to cut the hair of a woman. Now, this barbershop prides itself for being a place where men can get together and get their hair cut, watch sports, and not have to worry about women in the environment. But unfortunately, there was one woman who was upset by this when she made an appointment for herself and her boyfriend, and then the barbershop turned her away because they simply do not service women. Now, it's really interesting that her complaint to the Bureau of Professional and Occupational Affairs actually worked and they did get fined. I personally don't believe that they should have been fined, okay? So we'll have a conversation about that. And part of the reason why is because I think it's okay to have certain businesses that target a very specific demographic. And what I mean by that is there's a freaking nationwide gym referred to as Curves that only allows women to join, right?
You can't go in if you're a man.
Men are not allowed to join Curves. They're not.
Literally, they will bar you.
It is a women...
I've never considered joining Curves, but...
It is a women-only gym.
So then how is that legal? I know you're not a lawyer and you're not a representative of Curves,
I'm not a lawyer, and I've looked into it, and I've read some personal stories from guys who tried to join Curves because they were trying to make a statement about how this is crazy. And Curves denied their applications and said this is for women only, okay? And look, I think it's fine that Curves is a gym for women only because some women feel uncomfortable working out in front of other men. That's fine. There are other women-only gyms in Los Angeles that I know about that I've actually gone to.
I didn't know that.
I haven't joined, but I went to take a class or two. I think that's fine. If this barbershop only wants to cut hair for men, I think that's fine. It's not the end of the world. Again, I think this is just another example of people being outraged about something that isn't that outrageous.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm torn because immediately I have always liked the idea of the old school barbershop, and especially the new ones where they give you alcohol and stuff too, and you're in a big chair and stuff, and you get the full treatment, not like a shitty little barbershop where they just cut your hair. I mean, like they still do in Egypt and European countries, where they get the full thing and they go all over. That seems really cool. And I don't want that sort of thing to die. And whatever female equivalents there are, like Curves, I'm sure there's lots of other organizations or stores that are mainly intended to be for women. I think that there is something to that is worth keeping. But at the same time, while it makes sense in the case of a high-end gentleman's barbershop that it should just be men, if you establish their ability to do it, then other businesses will want to cut out certain types of people, and we're against bakeries not making cakes for gay people.
Right, I get it.
I mean, there's, gender is a protected class, just like sexual orientation is a protected class, just like race is a protected class. I'm sure there's lots of places where you could gather 8 to 10 white people that just want white people to go there. And they'd probably say there's tradition there too. It's hard. That's why I'm saying I'm torn.
It is a slippery slope and it is hard, right? But if it is a slippery slope, then I think the government needs to be consistent about it. If you're not going to allow one business to be gender specific, then you can't allow other businesses to be gender specific either. And look, I already told you what my thoughts are on these two specific businesses, Curves and this barbershop. I'm okay with them being gender specific. I think that's fine. It's not that big of a deal. People are upset over something that I don't think is worth being upset about.
And honestly, I think that the easiest solution for both of them would be to just change the policy. And I don't think it would really hurt you because I have a feeling that if Curves allowed men to join, no men would join. And if they allowed women to go here, 1 per week would. And I think that largely then they wouldn't get in legal trouble, but they'd still pretty much have the environment that they want.